Every night, without fail, my bedroom door creaks open all on its own. At first, I told myself it was just the house settling, or maybe a draft slipping through. But then the whispering started, soft, almost too quiet to catch, coming from the hallway just beyond the door. The words don't make sense, but the voice sounds close, too close. I've tried locking the door, shutting it tight, but it still opens. And every night, that chilling whisper pulls me closer to something I can't see. What's haunting my home? And why won't it leave me alone? The very first night something felt wrong. I remember it clearly because it was so subtle at first. I was lying in bed, ready to fall asleep, when I heard the soft creak of my bedroom door slowly opening. At first, I thought maybe I had left it slightly ajar, or that it was just the house settling. Old houses do that sometimes, right? I didn't feel scared at that moment. I convinced myself it was nothing. But then, I realized the door didn't just open quickly, it moved slowly, like someone was gently pushing it. I sat up and stared at it for a while, but no one was there. The hallway beyond was dark and empty. I checked every room, every corner, but there was no sign of anyone or anything that could have caused it. Still, the door had opened all by itself. I didn't want to jump to conclusions or let my imagination run wild, so I shrugged it off and tried to go back to sleep. But that moment stuck with me, the feeling that something was just barely there, watching, waiting. That night was the start of something I couldn't explain, and I had no idea how much it would change everything I thought I knew about my own home. After that first night, the situation only grew stranger and more unsettling. It wasn't just the door anymore. I started hearing whispering from the hallway, right outside my bedroom. At first, the whispers were so faint I thought maybe I was imagining things. They didn't form clear words, just soft, breathy sounds that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere all at once. But every night, as the door creaked open, the whispering grew louder, more persistent. Sometimes it felt like the voice was trying to tell me something, or call my name, but I could never quite make it out. It was eerie because it wasn't the kind of whispering you hear in movies. There was no menace, no anger, just this strange, almost sorrowful sound that made my skin crawl. The silence of the house was broken by these whispers, and it made my bedroom feel less like a safe place and more like a threshold between two worlds. I'd lie there frozen, listening to those faint sounds, wondering if I was truly alone or if something else was lingering just beyond the door. The whispering unsettled me more than anything else, the not knowing what it meant, or why it was happening to me, night after night. It was the moment I realized this wasn't just a one-time thing or a trick of the house. Something was there. Something was trying to communicate, or maybe just to be noticed. As the nights went on, I knew I couldn't just ignore what was happening anymore. I started trying everything I could think of to stop the door from opening and the whispering from invading my space. I locked the door every night, double-checked the windows for drafts, even moved furniture to block the door's path. But no matter what I did, it kept opening. I set up a small camera in the hallway, hoping to catch something on video, but nothing ever showed up. The recordings just had silence, except for the faint creak of the door swinging open by itself. I even asked friends and family if they'd heard anything strange, or if they had been in my house without telling me. No one had. It was like the house was playing tricks on me, or something unseen was messing with my mind. I started questioning my own sanity, wondering if maybe I was imagining the whole thing. But the physical evidence was there, the door wide open every morning, the whispered sounds still lingering in my ears. Nothing I did could stop it. It was frustrating and terrifying all at once, because I was trapped in a home that felt haunted by something I couldn't understand or control. Every attempt to block it out only seemed to make it worse, and I realized this wasn't just a random occurrence. It was deliberate. Something was making sure I knew it was there, and it wasn't going anywhere. As the night stretched on, the constant opening of my door and the whispering began to take a toll on me. It wasn't just a strange occurrence anymore. It became a source of growing fear and exhaustion. I found myself dreading bedtime, the one place where I should feel safest, turning into a zone of anxiety. Sleep became nearly impossible, my mind racing with questions and worst-case scenarios. Every creak of the house or shadow outside my door would make my heart race. During the day, the tiredness caught up with me. I was irritable, distracted, and often on edge. Friends and family noticed the change, but no one really understood what I was going through. It felt isolating, like I was trapped in a nightmare no one else could see. The fear wasn't just about what might be out there, it was about feeling powerless in my own home. I started second-guessing everything, wondering if I was going crazy or if something truly paranormal was happening. The whispering and door opening weren't just noises anymore. They were constant reminders that I wasn't alone, that something was there with me, night after night. It changed how I lived my life, no longer carefree, but cautious, always aware. That growing fear didn't just haunt my nights, it began to seep into my days, shaping every thought and decision. It was a slow, creeping dread that I couldn't shake, and it only made the nights even more terrifying. Desperate for answers, I started looking for ways to understand what was happening. I researched everything I could about unexplained phenomena, haunted houses, and even paranormal activity. I read stories from people who had experienced similar things, doors opening on their own, whispers in the night, and found that I wasn't alone in this. That helped, but it also made me realize how many unknowns there were. I tried talking to spiritual advisors and paranormal experts, hoping they could shed some light on what might be causing the disturbances. Some suggested rituals to cleanse the space, others advised me to set boundaries and speak directly to whatever was there. I tried these things with a mix of skepticism and hope, but the door still opened, and the whispering continued. I also reached out to electricians and contractors to check for any possible physical explanations, faulty hinges, drafts, vibrations, but they found nothing unusual. Each failed attempt to stop or explain it only deepened the mystery and my frustration. Still, I kept searching because living like that wasn't sustainable. I needed to understand if this was something benign, something malevolent, or something else entirely. Even if I couldn't see it, the presence was real, and the question of why it was there and what it wanted became an obsession. It was a reminder that sometimes the answers we seek aren't easy to find, especially when what we're facing is beyond the ordinary. Living with this unseen presence has changed me in ways I never expected. I've come to realize that fear is a complex thing. It's not just about the unknown, but about how we react to it. I still don't fully understand what's been opening my door or whispering in the hallway, and maybe I never will. But I've learned to live with the uncertainty and the discomfort. It's taught me to trust my instincts more and to pay attention to the small things, even when they don't make sense. At the same time, it's made me more cautious about the spaces I call home and the energy that might linger there. I've also realized that sometimes, the things we can't see can have a profound effect on us, shaping our emotions and sense of safety. Living alongside that presence, whatever it is, has forced me to confront my fears head-on. I've found ways to cope, whether it's through grounding techniques, reaching out to others who understand, or simply acknowledging that some mysteries might remain unsolved. This experience has been both terrifying and strangely humbling. It's a reminder that our world is bigger and more mysterious than we often admit. So while the door may still open on its own and the whispering might never stop, I've learned to live with it, not because I'm unafraid, but because I'm stronger than the fear. And maybe that's the real story, not what follows us in the dark, but how we choose to face it. Thank you for listening to my story. What started as a simple mystery turned into a journey of fear, resilience, and acceptance. Sometimes, the things we can't see or fully understand are the ones that teach us the most about ourselves. Whether it's a whisper in the hallway or a door that opens by itself, these experiences remind us to trust our instincts, face our fears, and find strength even in the darkest moments. I hope my story encourages you to stay curious but cautious, and to remember that sometimes, the unknown is not something to run from, but something to confront. Stay safe, stay aware, and never stop listening to those quiet warnings. Because sometimes, they're trying to protect you.